reach out to the other musicians. So tonight we have one of my most favorite people in the world, Mark Diamond. You were one of the first people I met. I remember you and Andy playing, like when we weren't even living here, we were coming to visit my parents who lived here, and you guys had your steady gig. And I was like, man, this is really happening scene, man.
Cool. Well, I remember
Thanks
meeting you, man, and there's a promo shot somewhere floating around in history of us. We got dressed up and everything, I remember. So, yeah, man, I love you guys. You guys are great, and I'm honored to be with you tonight from my house to yours.
Thanks, Mark. You want to just play 30 seconds, a minute, just even walk a blues or something? And
well, sure. You know, I've actually, in our downtime here, there's a song I've played for a while, but I never really practiced it enough, and I've been practicing it, and I still can't play it well. But I'm going to play it for you anyway. It's one of my favorite tunes. It's by the great Tom Harrell, and it's a tune called Moon Alley. And I want to say the last gig I ever did before we all got locked up was with Pete and Claire down at the Vine Street, and we didn't get to this song that night, but I'll give it a little run here and see how we do.
Cool.
So here's a little Moon Alley. And also I'm using the this spork.
German bow.
Oh, there's a little thing.
I love that.
Still working on it.
Yeah, man, it's such a beautiful, simple melody, but then all the colors underneath with the chords, such a great tune, you know.
Yeah, with the two horn line on the original recording, it's so beautiful. So check out Moon Alley, everybody. Tom Harrell, you can't go wrong with him.
Well, the next time we're at the Vine.
Next time.
Yeah.
Good, man. How are you guys doing through all this right now?
You mean individually, Muse-wise, or
no, personally, not Muse-wise.
Well, I'm doing great. I just retired from long years of teaching middle school band, and so it's just kind of been the same thing for me. I've had more time to practice since I'm not doing Muse stuff, and write. So it's been kind of a good thing in a way, just take this period to spend more time on music.
Right.
We're together a lot more often, cooking good meals for each other, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm going to weigh 300 pounds when this is all said and done. I'll tell you, Karen's been cooking great. And, you know, for me, I mean, sure, I am lucky. I am a working musician. I'm usually gone like nearly every night. And I'm cherishing this time home and making up lost time with Karen, and doing this a little bit. We take a walk every day. We didn't always take a walk every day,
Yeah.
and I'm sort of a silver lining guy, so I want to see what good there is in all of this. Of course, we lost one of our uh, local jazz legends, Mr. Freddie Rodriguez, passed from Corona just a few days ago, and I've been playing music with him since about 1982. So he's been a longtime friend, and that's not the silver lining of all of this. But we could be in for a rocky ride here, but staying positive.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like the planet is healing. I can feel the planet healing, you know? I look out and it's so clean. The air is so clean. And
I don't know if you saw the sky last night. There was sort of a half moon or maybe more of a crescent. Venus was like a 100-watt light bulb, so amazingly huge and bright. And I'm thinking, this sky is really clearer. And I know, we've heard about Venice where there's dolphins in the water, I guess. Maybe they're supposed to be there, I'm not sure. But I mean, yes, and in China, they can see blue sky for the first time in decades. So, wow, right?
yeah, I mean, it's
incredible.
a shame. It's a shame, but I think I don't know. I'm trying to see it as like something's equilibrium is somehow going to be attained. Um, I of course it's scary every time you turn on the news, but basically we're fine. We're doing just fine. And I'm definitely getting into the online teaching. Today was the first day of online teaching. So that was interesting because we started and the platform crashed within about 3 minutes. Like,
Of course.
the whole district
Yeah,
at
there's
the same time crashed.
new ways and methods abounding right now, just like this. I never heard of Zoom until a few days ago.
Wish we had.
And wow.
Mark, do you see this? Everything going back to normal. When this is over, hopefully in a month, 2 months, or whatever.
Or what's going to change?
Or do you feel like there's been this shift in the way we present music? Maybe there'll be more people going out to music because they now won't take it for granted. Or do you think there'll be more of this online variety of selection? You can go to see something online.
I think that some of this online stuff will continue because it's really cool, actually, to see. I don't know how these people do it. You see like 4 people, and they're obviously in 4 different places playing together. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of thing could continue. I mean, people from, somebody in America and somebody in Sweden and somebody in Africa can play a song together. And there's the, is it called Playing for Change? They go around the world and people play the same song and they edit it together. So maybe that was almost a forerunner. I do see some of this kind of continuing, but so here's the main. So like take my Vine Street gig, for example. That place, it's packed every Thursday night, and the place is totally supportive. But they're a restaurant and a brew pub, and they're gonna have to get back on their feet. Mm-hmm. And I feel that perhaps them and other places, I guess I'm mentally preparing, let's say, that even when places open again for business, they may not hire musicians right away. They're going to need to get on their feet and sell some food and sell some drink and get people back in their doors. So I hope I'm wrong, but I'm preparing for a transitional period from being totally shut down for weeks and months, possibly, to getting back to whatever the new normal will be. Even a place like Nocturne or Dazzle, which music is their whole thing. Mm-hmm. They're a restaurant as well. And, maybe those places, because music is the 100% main attraction, maybe they'll get music back in sooner than some other places like Vine, where they're a restaurant first and music is sort of a embellishment. Yeah. So there's going to be a transition period that I'm at least mentally preparing for. But, people will have weeks and maybe longer of cabin fever. They're going to want to get out and see people and take a drive and go to people that they'll want to be in a group of people that maybe they didn't before. You know, like I need to be around some people right now and talk and bump into somebody. There may be a new way of shaking hands. I don't know if people will do this anymore. They might do this, or the Chinese thing would tap your foot against each other's foot. So maybe handshaking will be a greeting of the past.
Yeah. I think
Everybody's going to carry Clorox wipes with them wherever they go. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
should I tell my joke?
yes.
You only got one? I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want you to waste it.
This is a true story. So years ago, you wipe the grime and the sweat off this, and some guy was sitting in front of the band, and he's like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" I said, "I don't know, but 5 minutes ago, this was a violin."
That's terrible.
Thank you.
Wait, you gotta get in the drum set there.
Ba-dum-bum.
That's a true story.
Maybe you could be like a stand-up, comedian.
Remember Maury Amsterdam?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cello jokes.
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah. Well,
So we already told you already told us some stuff you were working on. What else you been working on in all your spare time?
Working on, I don't know. It's sort of a hard question. There's a lot of downtime, So again, we've been trying to just get outside for a while every day, and admittedly a little more TV time, just watching what the heck is going on around all of us. And I hate listening to our fearless leader, but I want to know what he's saying, and so I'm checking in on that kind of stuff, just to know what people are saying out there, and trying to stay positive.
Yeah.
Mark, musically, do you feel like you're having more time to just get back to some basics, like, just spend more time on tone and more time on technique? And yeah.
Absolutely. I have this book that I use with students,
nice.
and I've never gone through the whole thing myself. So I've actually been chipping away at some of my Ray Brown basic stuff, and just playing, because when we do go back in action, I don't want to have sore muscles and blood blisters. Right. So but it's also hard to self-motivate sometimes. There's often I practice because I have something I'm practicing for, and I don't have any of that right now. So it's admittedly for me, I know some people are probably in the shed 10 hours a day right now because they have that time. I wish I was a little more self-motivated that way, but I am finding most days to get down here. I'm in my basement and just do some playing just to keep chops up a little bit. Well, as you know, it's hard to keep gig chops up off of a bandstand. So just trying to play and keep endurance going and stuff. So, definitely spending some time on that.
So Mark, as I'm noticing in the background, it almost looks like a museum back there. Can you pan the camera a little bit over? There's that.
Sure. Let's see here. Stand by. Should we start with that?
Yeah. What is that?
So people that, we have lots of rehearsals down here with various groups, and that's often one of the first questions. So my mom, who lived in New Jersey, had this in her house for years and years. It's a Nefertiti. And if you open it up, there's actually shelves, and we have shelves full of our kids' VHS and videotapes of their lives growing up. So so my mom had a stroke in New Jersey, and we moved her to Colorado for the last few years of her life. And we were like, "What do you want, Mom?" So this was one of the things she wanted to bring with her, and so that's my mummy's mummy, and inside are also some of her ashes. So there's that. And let's see. There's, we have a nice Steinway upright grand, about 125 years old, mostly original strings, and it can't be tuned to 440 anymore. It's tuned to 438.
Oh, okay.
And I was playing my main bass, but this is my B bass, which I use mostly for practicing and rehearsals. And it's also gets rented when there's artists passing through town. I get calls from various sources, people that don't want to travel with an upright, so I supply that bass. And
I see you got your
then there's
lamp for parties.
have what?
Lava lamp. You still got your lava.
Oh, I know. And had I had a little more time, I would have warmed it up for this session, but I didn't have that much notice. So then my son-in-law built these beautiful shelves, and there's all kinds of, here, stand by. This is always fun. This is a picture of my very first band. I helped form this band in 1977, the Jersey Ridge Runners, 5-piece, all acoustic, traditional, hard driving bluegrass, as our business card used to say. So
It sounds fun.
that's 1977. And, I loved bluegrass. And when I first started playing bass, I played a lot of bluegrass and other acoustic music, but in like the acoustic rock of the time, you got your James Taylor and Van Morrison and Joni Mitchell and stuff like that. But then I discovered David Grisman through bluegrass, who at the time was playing with Stephen Grappelli. I can't say an instrument without doing it. So he was playing with Stephen Grappelli. And that was really my early bridge to jazz, because then I started investigating the history of Stephen Grappelli, who of course played with Django Reinhardt. And that was like doors bashing open on, holy mackerel, listen to this music. And that was really kind of my bridge to jazz. And then I started just following from there. So anyway, Jersey Ridge Runners. Here, interesting. So from that band, the guitar player in the Jersey Ridge Runners, we had a personnel change, and I had met this guy named Mike Fitzmaurice. My friend Jeff and I moved into a house, and Mike and his friend were living upstairs from us. And Mike and I became immediate buddies. This is in New Jersey in the late 70s. And the guitar player from the Jersey Ridge Runners, we actually had to ask him to leave the band. I love him dearly, but he was gone. And I got this guy, Mike Fitzmaurice, to join the band. There's Fitz right there.
Yep.
So the Jersey Ridge Runners evolved into this band called Arabesque. And there's Fitz, there's me. This is the great Mike Scapp. He has a lot of Colorado history. If you look up Mike Scapp, he was the original guitar player when Hot Rise formed. And Ralph Brandolfino, and this fellow, Eric Levine, a virtuoso violin player who unfortunately died in a car accident in January.
Oh, yeah.
So he's gone, and Mike died 6 years ago, unfortunately. So there's 3 of us left right now from that band. But this is the band. So we moved this band from New Jersey to Colorado in May of 1980. So coming up on 40 years in Colorado here.
Wow. So that's how Mike Fitzmaurice on here too. Interesting. Well, do you want to play something else for us?
Sure. Well, I brought my bass out to my front yard about a week ago and played for, there's 6 children who live next door to us, and just played for them a little bit.
That's great.
I don't know, I'm gonna improvise something.
Okay.
Cool.
called Whatever.
Whatever.
You know what I was thinking?
Whatever.
I've had this.
Did you guys catch my quarantine blues on Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was awesome, man. Great lyrics.
Good.
Well, that was fun as hell to put together. And again, I apologize for the singing on it, but it was sure fun to do.
Great. I had this thought that you and Andrew Hudson would do a bass thing in recognition of Freddie, since you were kind of the bass guys. We can talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk.
I,
But
We're
I
gonna.
would accept that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you have any?
Andrew and I we've talked recently. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
We have a lot of internet cutting out right now, but so probably
Yeah,
the whole world is on it right now.
right.
So do you have any parting words of wisdom or anything for folks?
We are all in this together.
Mm.
We will all, well, I was going to say we will all get through it. Some of us already are not getting through it, and that's, of course, horrible. Hopefully, as a society and government, we learn lessons from this, so we don't have to go through all of this again. I just wish love and peace to the whole world, to you guys for doing what you do in our community. You're great people, you're great musicians, and you're doing such a wonderful thing. So thanks on behalf of all of us. And, keep positive, everybody. This could be a long haul. So just hang in there. We'll all hug each other and we'll party together again.
All right.
Mark, thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Mark.
man.
Thank you.
All right, you guys.